Brothers and sisters, friends and seekers of light, have you ever found yourself suddenly awake, your eyes open in the deep, silent hours of the night, between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m.? The world is asleep, but you are not. Your first thought might be frustration. I need my sleep. Why am I awake? You roll over, fighting it, trying to reclaim the rest you feel you deserve. But what if I told you that this is not an interruption? This is not a disturbance in your sleep. This is a distinct invitation from the divine. It begins in the deepest, most silent hour of the night, a world wrapped in a blanket of darkness, where the usual cacophony of daily life, the distant hum of traffic, the insistent pings of notifications, the murmured conversations from another room, has all faded into an almost sacred quiet. It is in this profound stillness, typically between the hours of 3 and 5 in the morning, that a subtle shift occurs within you. Your eyes open not to the jarring scream of an alarm clock, a sound associated with duty and drudgery, but to a gentle internal nudge. There is no external cause, no loud noise that startled you, no physical discomfort you can readily identify. It is simply a quiet awakening, a return to consciousness that feels different from any other. The initial human response, conditioned by a world that prizes productivity and measured rest, is often a flicker of frustration, a mental groan. I need my sleep, you think. I have a long day ahead. Why now? You might turn over, punch your pillow into a more comfortable shape, and actively will yourself back into the oblivion of sleep, treating this awakening as an enemy to your well-being. This is the surface level reaction, the response of the physical self that understands the need for rest and views any interruption as a theft of a precious resource. But what if we were to pause in that moment of frustration and consider a more profound, a more beautiful possibility? What if this is not a random glitch in your biological software, but a deliberate, personalized, and deeply loving act of grace? The first and most fundamental keynote to understand is that this awakening is not an interruption of your peace, but an invitation to a far deeper, more resonant peace. It is not a disturbance in your sleep. It is a distinct personal invitation from the divine. To reframe this experience from an annoyance to an invitation requires a radical shift in perspective, one that moves from a purely materialistic view of the world to one that acknowledges the subtle, unseen realities of the spirit. Think of it this way throughout the day. Our souls are bombarded. We are constantly giving our energy away to our work, to our families, to the endless stream of information and social interactions. Our consciousness is stretched thin, spread across a dozen different concerns, and our connection to our core, to our Creator, becomes like a distant radio signal, full of static and difficult to hear. The noise of the world is simply too loud. But the night, particularly this specific portion of the night, is different. It is a time divinely ordained for quietude and receptivity. In the Islamic tradition, this period, known as the last third of the night, is singled out in a sacred narration as a time of unparalleled proximity to the divine. It is said that during this time, our Lord, the creator of the heavens and the earth, descends to the lowest heaven in a manner that befits His majesty, and He calls out to His servants. He asks, "Who is calling upon me that I may answer them? Who is asking of me that I may give them? Who is seeking my forgiveness that I may forgive them?" This is not a metaphorical or abstract concept. It is presented as a reality of the unseen world. When you wake up in this window, you are, in essence, being gently stirred from your slumber to hear that call. Your name is, in a spiritual sense, being called. You are being offered a private audience. While kings and presidents guard their time with fierce jealousy, making it nearly impossible for the common person to gain an audience, the King of all kings is actively inviting you personally into His presence. He is making Himself available to you. This invitation is an act of immense mercy and personal love. Consider the nature of an invitation to something truly important. It is not shouted in a crowded, noisy marketplace where it can be easily lost. It is delivered quietly, personally, often in a setting of intimacy and respect. The pre-dawn hours are that quiet, personal setting. Allah is not waking you up to scold you or to demand something from you in a transactional sense. He is waking you up because He misses you. He is waking you up to offer you a gift that cannot be found in the bustling, sunlit hours of the day. It is a gift of His undivided attention. In that moment, when you stand in prayer or simply speak to Him from your heart, there is no cue, no intermediary, no distraction. The connection is pure, direct, and potent. This is the ultimate personalization of faith. It is God saying, I see you. I know the burdens you carry, the secrets you hold in your heart, the dreams you are afraid to speak aloud. This is our time. Talk to me. To hit the snooze button on this is to metaphorically turn away a messenger who has arrived at your door with a summons to meet with the most powerful, most loving, and most generous being in existence. The frustration we feel then is a trick of the ego and the tired body, a failure to recognize the sublime opportunity being presented. It is like being offered a key to a treasure chest and complaining that the key is too cold to touch. Understanding this transforms the entire experience from the inside out. The slight grogginess, the desire for more sleep, no longer feel like obstacles to be overcome with grim determination, but rather the minor, temporary conditions of a profound transition. They are the feeling of shifting from one state of being to a higher one. When you consciously recognize the wake up as an invitation, the act of rising from your bed becomes an act of acceptance. It is you saying, yes, I am here. I hear your call, and I am coming. The physical movement of pushing aside the covers is the first step in responding to a divine summons. The walk to the bathroom to make ablution is no longer a mundane routine. It is a ceremonial preparation, a cleansing not just of the limbs but of the intention, washing away the lethargy of the world and readying the heart for an encounter. Every action, from the cool water on your skin to the positioning of your feet on the prayer mat, becomes infused with a new meaning. You are not merely performing a ritual, you are walking into a throne room. You are answering a call that millions sleep through, a call that is the ultimate privilege to receive. So the next time you find yourself awake in the holy silence of the night, pause and listen with the ear of your heart. Do not let the old narrative of frustration dictate your response. Remember the new, truer story. You have been personally invited. The King is waiting, and He is waiting just for you. It is one thing to receive an invitation to a grand event. It is another entirely to be assured that the host is not only present, but is actively, personally, and joyfully waiting to receive you, to listen to you, and to grant you what you seek. This is the profound reality that elevates the nightly awakening from a mere spiritual practice to a moment of cosmic significance. The first keynote established the wakefulness as a divine invitation. The second plunges us into the breathtaking promise that defines this encounter. It is a uniquely blessed time of direct divine response. This is not a period of passive reflection or solitary meditation, although it contains elements of both. It is, according to the core of Islamic tradition, a moment of dynamic, intimate dialogue where the creator of the universe initiates a conversation with his creation. The Hadith Qudsi, a sacred saying where the Prophet Muhammad conveys the words of Allah in the first person, paints a picture so intimate and so generous that it can stagger the heart if contemplated deeply. It describes Allah in a manner that befits His majesty and transcends human comprehension, descending to the lowest heaven during the last third of the night and calling out to a sleeping world, "Who is asking me so that I may give him? Who is seeking my forgiveness so that I may forgive him?" Let us sit with the weight of this proclamation. The one who governs galaxies, who orchestrates the cycles of life and death across countless worlds, the Absolute, the Self-Sufficient, makes Himself, by His own will and in His own way, accessible. He announces His presence and His readiness. This is the foundation upon which the entire experience is built. The wakefulness you feel is the gentle nudge that aligns your personal moment with this cosmic opening. You are not waking up into an empty silence, you are waking up into a presence. The quiet of the room is not an absence of sound, but a fullness of divine attention. This transforms the act of prayer from a monologue into a dialogue. When you then rise and stand in prayer, you are not whispering words into a void, hoping they might, by some distant chance, be heard. You are speaking directly into a listening, compassionate ear. You are answering a call that has already been made. The divine question hangs in the spiritual atmosphere of that hour. Who is asking me? And your prayer, your dua, is your confident, hopeful response. I am here and I am asking you. This assurance of response fundamentally alters the nature of what we ask for and how we ask it. In the daylight hours, our prayers can sometimes feel rushed, transactional, or diluted by the distractions that constantly pull at our attention. We ask for things, but our hearts are often not fully present, not entirely convinced of the immediacy of the listening. But in the Tahajjud hours, knowing the divine promise that defines this time, our supplication becomes more audacious, more vulnerable, and more profound. We are emboldened to ask for what we truly, deeply need, not just what we superficially want. We are not placing an order into a cosmic customer service system that may or may not be processed. We are having a heart-to-heart conversation with the one who loves us most. This knowledge gives us the courage to lay bare our soul, to confess our most shameful mistakes with the genuine hope of forgiveness, to articulate our most fragile dreams with the belief that they are heard, to present our most tangled problems with the trust that a solution is near. The asking itself becomes an act of immense intimacy and trust. We ask knowing that the response is not a remote possibility, but the very purpose of the meeting. The divine promise is not a vague guarantee of eventual help. It is a specific, targeted offer made in real time. So that I may give him, so that I may forgive him. The verbs are active, immediate, and brimming with intent. Furthermore, this concept of direct response invites us to reconsider what constitutes an answer. We often imagine a response as the literal, material granting of a specific wish. But in the context of this sacred relationship, the response is often far more nuanced and profound. Sometimes, the immediate answer to a plea for help with a problem is not the removal of the problem, but the infusion of a preternatural patience and clarity to navigate it. The answer to a request for provision might not be a sudden windfall of money, but the emergence of a new opportunity or the strengthening of your skills to earn it. The answer to a prayer for healing might be the resilience to bear an illness with dignity, discovering a well of inner strength you never knew you possessed. The forgiveness you seek manifests as a crushing sense of regret that purifies the heart, followed by a soothing, tangible peace that assures you the slate has been wiped clean. The direct divine response is the certainty that your voice has been heard and that a loving, all-knowing intelligence is now handling your case. The anxiety of the unknown begins to dissolve because you have transferred the burden to the one truly capable of carrying it. The response is the sakina, the divine tranquility that descends upon your heart as you pray, a peace that is itself a greater gift than many of the worldly things we request. This peace is the evidence of the connection, the tangible proof that the dialogue is real. Therefore, the hours between 3 a.m. and 5 am are not holy simply because of the clock. They are holy because they are divinely appointed as a time of unprecedented divine accessibility and guaranteed response. This is what makes the sacrifice of sleep not a burden, but a thrilling investment. You are trading an hour of physical rest for a session of spiritual rejuvenation and direct communion that has the potential to reshape your entire day, your entire state of mind, and even the trajectory of your life. The frustration of being awake is replaced by the awe of being chosen for an audience. The drowsiness is washed away by the exhilarating realization that you are participating in a celestial event, a nightly ritual of mercy where the heavens open and God draws near, asking His servants what they need. When you understand this, you don't just set an alarm for Tahajjud out of duty, you await it with a hopeful heart. You go to sleep with the anticipation of a child on the eve of a great journey, wondering if you might be awakened for the most important meeting of your day. And when that gentle nudge comes, you rise not with reluctance, but with the quiet excitement of someone who is about to converse with their Lord, with the absolute certainty that He is already there, waiting, listening, and ready to respond.